Hi there, how are you today? Welcome back. So in this beautiful video, I don't know why, but my team is asking me to talk about our parents. And when we have grudges towards our parents, we have resentment for things that we've been through in our childhood with our parents. For those of you who don't know my story, I spent a good 7 years not talking to my parents. I was so angry with them. And what they want to bring through in this beautiful video is an awareness that came through after I woke up. I couldn't see it before. I wasn't aware of it. I couldn't see it because I was too engrossed in my beautiful human experience. Now, the first thing is to understand that by the time you arrive into this world, your parents have already been through at least 2 decades of being here on this planet. They've already had 2 decades of experience, 20 years at least, maybe less if your parents were young when they had you, but for the most part, our parents have had at least 20 years of being here. Now, the beautiful information that came through in my first book, Your Past is a Gift, that's just there. It already came through in that book, was that our parents have already been through all this abuse, trauma, whatever else, this suffering. They've already been through all this suffering in their childhood. If they caused you suffering, it was because it was already in them. They've already been through this. And for them, this is how the world works. This is normal. So this is one thing to sit with today. To look at our beautiful parents and to understand that they were doing the best that they could do at the time, with the information that they already had from their experiences. So know within your heart that if your parents were abusive towards you in any way, this abuse is a learned behavior. We're not born with this behavior in us. When we are born, we are this beautiful love. We are this beautiful light. And many of us come here to remind these beautiful grown-ups, these beings, that this is who they are too. I was blessed because when my daughter was born, this is what happened to me. She woke me up. I'd been waiting my whole life to be a mother. And I honestly believed when she came that I would be whole, I would feel complete, I would feel loved, finally. I would be at peace. All the things I was yearning for, I believed would come when I was a mother. And what happened when she was born, my beautiful daughter, was that I woke up from the dream. I realized through her that she is the love. She is spirit. She is that beautiful energy. I saw it in her, and in seeing it in her, I could see it in myself. It took time. It didn't just happen, whoop, she was born and that's it. No, for some people it may happen in an instant when they are ready, if it's part of their journey. But for me, she came and I realized that something was missing. Something just wasn't right. I was missing something. I'd been chasing all these things, thinking this was the answer to my happiness, the answer to my freedom, the answer to being loved, to feeling loved, all of that. I kept chasing all these things, and she was the last thing that I honestly believed was going to make me feel complete, was going to make me feel whole. And when she came and I realized that nothing was changing inside of me, the anger that was there before she was born was still there after she was born. All the resentment I had towards my mum, still there. It didn't disappear. Nothing changed just because she came into our lives. If anything, I was sleep deprived. So I was more irritable, I felt more frustrated than I was feeling before. Because that's what sleep deprivation does to you. It amplifies everything because you're just so tired from not getting enough sleep when there's a new baby in the house. But with her birth, so many things came to light. Because now I could see through the eyes of my mother. I could see what she went through, what she was going through, what she was feeling. One thing is to imagine what it must be like to be a parent. And the next thing is to actually know, because you are a parent, all the feelings that come up inside of you. And for me, all the inadequacies that I had before, everywhere where I felt I was not good enough, was amplified by this beautiful being. All of a sudden, I was even more not good enough. Because I wasn't good enough as a daughter for my mum to love me. And now I felt I wasn't good enough to be this little being's mother. How could I be this being's mother? She was so pure and so innocent and so beautiful until that moment. Yes, when I fell in love with my husband, he was so beautiful. And growing up, I thought my dad was so beautiful. I could see their gorgeous light. But my daughter, for some reason, was the most beautiful. The most beautiful light I'd ever seen. I was blown away by how beautiful she was. You know, you even get to a point where you feel like you just don't deserve this being in your life. So all of that was coming up when she was born. She was bringing all of that up for me. She was showing me what it was to be the love in the world. She was reminding me that I was this love. And I share the story where so many people kept telling me that I looked just like her. And I would walk away thinking, are they blind? You know, are we even looking at the same thing? Come on. But then after a while, it was said so much that I had to really stop and look. I had to really sit with it. What are they seeing? What are all these people seeing that I can't see? Or that I don't want to see? And then it hit me. What they're talking about was not how we look on the outside. Although, yes, they were probably looking at, we were very similar just because she has my dark brown eyes and my dark brown hair. But I still look at her and all I see is my husband, despite the dark brown eyes and the dark brown hair. My husband has gorgeous blue eyes and he had fair hair. It's silver now. It's not that he's not around anymore. He's still here. But it's not blonde anymore. And this is what you were when you came into the world. You were this possibility for the beautiful beings that brought you into this world. Your parents, your guardians, whoever it was that raised you. When you came and you were this love, pure and innocent, and you hadn't been touched by this world yet, you were an opportunity for them to remember the beautiful love that they are too. This is the gift that our children are to us. To be able to see ourselves in them, to be able to see that this is who we are too. They came from us. They are a part of us, just as we are a part of spirit. A piece, if it's easier to say. They are a piece of us, just as we are a piece of spirit. Because the word apart sounded like They were separate from us. And yes, visually they look like a separate being, but it is all spirit. It is all this universal life force energy that is in everything. So today the message is to look at the beautiful parents that raised you and to understand that whatever they did that you can't forgive, they were doing the best that they could do with the information that they had from this lifetime. Whatever they did to you was a learned behavior in their childhood. Whatever you've been through, they've also been through it. It's very important to understand this. That this is not who they are. This is what they have learnt to be in this lifetime. And if they couldn't love you the way that you deserve, it's not that you can't be loved. This is very important to understand. You are loved. You are supported. You have a whole team of angels by your side at all times. You are never on your own. They're always with you. Always. But perhaps these beautiful parents couldn't love you in a way that you understood. I know, because this happened to me. I spent my whole life thinking that my mum didn't love me. I didn't understand until after my daughter was born that she did love me in her own way. She was trying to show me in a million different ways that she loved me. But I couldn't see it. I couldn't understand it. Because the moment my sister was born, they were so similar, my sister and my mum. They had so much in common that I could see that she loved her. I could see it. But I couldn't feel that she loved me. I couldn't feel it. I spent my whole life thinking that I wasn't loved by my mum. And it wasn't the truth. But it was what I interpreted at the age of 5 when my sister was born. And I felt cast aside as a little one, like I was no longer wanted. No longer loved. This is how I felt. I felt abandoned at that time. And I carried that through my whole adult life. But our parents, you know, my mum lost her parents at the age of 5, both of them. Her mum died and her dad was taken to prison. She was left without parents one morning when she was 5 years old. And that was it. And so she went into the world with that information, that at any time, at any moment, the most important things in our life can be taken away. Because when you are that age, that is all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have a scooter. It doesn't matter if you've got a bicycle. It doesn't matter if you have friends at school. Your parents are your world at the age of 5. They are everything. So to my mum, then she went to live with an aunt. And to her, she was a burden financially. My mum and her sister that went to live with this aunt were a financial burden on a household that was already struggling financially. And so this is what she took on in her childhood. So it's very important to understand that our parents have had a whole lifetime of experiences before we arrive. And everything that they've done is something that they have learned from what they've been through. You know, my mum was so overprotective that I would be dropped off to school and I would be picked up from school all the way up to high school, all the way up to year 9. She was so scared that something would happen to us, to me and to my sister. I wasn't allowed to have sleepovers. I wasn't allowed to go out to the movies with my friends when I was in high school. I had my first camp in year 9 that I was allowed to go to camp. I wasn't allowed to go to camp even. That was just 2 or 3 nights to be with the school. You know, the teachers were there and we were with our friends, and it wasn't like there wasn't any adult supervision, but she was so afraid of something happening to us that we weren't allowed to go on any of these things. You know, I couldn't see that until much later, that I began to look at the whole picture. But growing up, to me, it felt like I was suffocating, like I had no freedom. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything outside of home. And I couldn't wait to leave home. I felt like it was a prison for me. But she didn't do it out of malice. She did it out of fear. She was so afraid that something would happen to us. So afraid, because something already happened to her when she was so little. Your parents were little once. And know within your heart that whatever you've been through, they've been through the same or worse. Because many times it gets watered down. It's never as bad as what they received. But for them, this is normal, you know. For children that grow up with certain abuse, this is the way the world works. This is normal. To them, this is their normal. They don't know anything else. They don't know another way. And as a child, I remember thinking that every house was like mine. You know, what was going on in my house was going on in every house. You don't stop to think that every house is different, that what is going on next door is not going on in here. We seem to think that this is what's happening everywhere. This is normal. This is what parents do with their children because this is what we're receiving. So today, if you are in this space of unforgiveness with your parents, just sit with this beautiful video. Picture that parent as a little one, around the age of 5 is usually a good age. And see them scared. See them as they were at that age, what they were going through. So, my beautiful beings, is it time to open our hearts and have compassion for these beautiful beings that brought us into the world? No matter how much they suffered, no matter how much pain they were in, they brought us in. They gave us life. And you are here, and your life is afoot. If you didn't like what you received in your childhood, you can choose to change. Do something different with your children. Do something different with those around you. Break the pattern. You have a choice. We can always choose. If we like what we received, we can continue doing that with others. And if we don't like it, we can choose, you know what? I didn't like how that made me feel, so I'm not going to do it to others. But we judge our parents and we hold this resentment because we don't stop to think that this pattern that we grew up with was a pattern that they learned in their childhood. All right, my beautiful beings, may this ease that resentment in your heart and shift into compassion for these beings that were doing the best that they could do for you. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you very much. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video. Okay? Bye for now.